we did get threats, and you can't say necessarily it's Antifa, but there were threats specifically from a DSA account, the Democratic Socialist America, and then some other coalition that were saying things that weren't true, like things that we were actually racist, homophobes, white nationalists, none of which is true.
Keean Bexte for Rebel Media here in Philadelphia outside of the Minds IRL conference, an event that hopes to bring together left-wing and right-wing activists, thought leaders, and journalists. There's everyone under the sun here. There's some people who have backgrounds in diplomacy, some in public relations, all kinds of folks here. We have people headlining like Andy Ngo, Lauren Chen, Tim Pool, and I've had the pleasure of sitting down with a few of them already. You can see them here. There's going to be long-form interviews uploaded separate to this video, but in this video I want to talk about what's happening here at this conference. Right now we are outside of a casino here in Philadelphia. The location of this event actually had to be moved from a theater. Earlier this week there was threats to a theater and to a bar where this event was going to be held from what we presume to be Antifa. A Twitter account was hacked and held sort of hostage, forcing a theater to what these hosts here at the Minds IRL conference say cancel the contract illegally. So I was just able to pull one of the folks here organizing the conference aside, and we're going to chat with him. He's going to give us some background on what he expects the rest of the conference to look like today and what the after party is going to look like, where we expect Antifa to show up. So can you tell me a little bit about what happened last week? I understand the venue was going to be at a theater, and now it's not because of some threats from Antifa, I believe. Can you give us a background on that?
Yeah, well, so the event is meant to be like a political meetings of the minds on outside of, say, fringe radicals, but people in the middle that are progressive, liberal, conservative, libertarian, and coming together to actually explore points of view and talk in a very reasonable manner. And we named the event Ending Racism, Violence, and Authoritarianism. And that's the mission. The mission is to promote viewpoint diversity to limit the effects of authoritarianism. So fortunately, we did get threats, and you can't say necessarily it's Antifa, but there were threats specifically from a DSA account, the Democratic Socialist America, and then some other coalition that were saying things that weren't true, like things that we were actually racist, homophobes, white nationalists, none of which is true, and that they wanted to deplatform the entire event, which was extremely diverse.
So I understand there's some collateral damage here too. The owners of the businesses were doxxed, maybe not the theater, but the after-party event.
So what happened was the original theater was the Broadway Pittman Theater. So their Twitter account was actually hacked. We're not exactly sure by who, but you could guess it's the same people that want it deplatformed. And they specifically said this Twitter account has been taken over until the Pittman Broadway Theater agrees to deplatform our event on ending racism, authoritarianism, and violence. It's ironic, right? So ultimately we worked with the theater to try to stay there. They would not. They canceled our contract, we think illegally, but they canceled our contract, so we couldn't go there. So then we were searching for another event, so we moved to our current event, which is the casino, and the after party, which was initially at the after party is at the Human Brewing, which is right down the street from our original venue, right? So that's why we had it. Now, they did not cancel on us. So the Human Brewing has been very good. They are free speech advocates. They're apolitical, but they thought, heck, if people want to have a party and you're not hurting anyone, you can have a party. I think the owner specifically says, I don't check people's voter registration cards before I pour them a tab, which I think is smart.
Fair enough. I understand the police will be there tonight. Is there any preparations being made in case something happens?
Yeah. So when the protests started happening, and again mostly online, but there was a whole host of calls that were coming in. They were phones ringing off the hook at the Human Brewing Company, and they were calling essentially with the telemarketer script. Look, these people are horrible racist Nazis, none of which is true, but they would say this, and ultimately they I don't know how they dealt with him, but they dealt with him. But ultimately, yeah, this was obvious online, so we reported this to the police as well as the brewing company, and the police may have known about it online. So, yeah, we had to tell them. Our number one is safety. When you're inviting people to an event, you can't bring people into danger. Right? I mean, you want as much safety as you can possibly get. So, yeah, of course, we called the police. So the police said, yeah, that we'll be there. It sounds like people are going to protest. And, they had to make enough police available to accommodate that. And they didn't know how many were going to come. And they said it could be anywhere from 5 to 200. Who knows?
In terms of keeping everyone safe, it seems like a casino is a pretty great place to do that. It seems like the event has gone off without a hitch as far as I've seen. Has there been any problems here at the actual conference?
No, the casino's been great. So far, everything has gone absolutely great. The security people like us. They're actually interested in the event. It's a lot of fun. These people have been absolutely fantastic. This event's been great. So this has been an ideal location.
Now, they expected Antifa to show up in rather large numbers. That didn't seem to be the case here at the after party. You can see folks coming into the party. Antifa did show up, but not really in the numbers that were expected. Of course, Antifa is going to do everything in their power, even if they don't have large numbers in force there. Definitely on the internet, you can tell by the fact that they held a Twitter account hostage to make sure that a venue wouldn't follow through with the contract. They're going to do everything in their power to silence political discourse in this country. But it's conventions like this Minds IRL convention here in Philadelphia that is going to do everything in their power to make sure that the First Amendment and the great history in this country of political discourse doesn't become a thing of the past. For the Rebel.media, I'm Keean Bexte. Hey there, thanks for watching our coverage here in Philadelphia at the Minds IRL conference. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit like and subscribe. And if you can, hit the notification bell, because subscriptions don't mean all that much here on YouTube. If you want to stay up to date with everything I'm doing as it happens, you can follow me on Twitter at @TheRealKeean.